Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day so far. We are going to be getting workshop started here today. Hope you folks are having a fantastic day so far. If you're watching the replay of this, by the way, I know there's a bunch of you who will be. Make sure you're commenting down below to get the free resources, because there's a bunch of resources we're going to send your folks' way today to make sure that you're actually getting the most value out of this. So we got a bunch of people jumping in. Hope you're doing well, folks. Who do we got on the call? Margaret, Natalie, Liam, Mr. Becker, or Mrs. Becker. I didn't see your first name. But anyways, folks, today's day number 1 of 3. So here's what's going to happen today. Today, I'm going to be giving you some work to do, which is a little bit like, I have to do some work. If we want better results in life, we got to put in some work. So I don't want this to be one of those workshops or 3-day events that you attend and you are just expecting it to be a lecture and you're not actually going to do anything, because I actually want you folks to get better results from what I teach you today so that you actually, business can grow. And frankly, selfishly, I want this to work so well for you that you actually want to join our program. So I want this to work well. I was chatting with one of our clients today. He attended the last one. His name is Travis. And he joined our workshop just like this. He implemented it. He made $4,000 in a couple of weeks. He joined our program, and now he's growing his business beyond. And I asked him, would he join our program if he didn't get results doing our free stuff? And he's like, well, probably not. And I'm like, so let's actually make a commitment. Who of you are ready to actually implement what we teach today so that we can actually get some great results? I want you to put in the chat down below the word me if you are that type of person, because I'm going to give you a lot of great stuff here today, but I need to be met halfway for you folks to be implementing the great stuff. So comment down below me if you folks are ready. Let's go. Not playing games. I like it. Great. Liam's here, and Natalie, Mandy. Awesome, folks. Really excited to have you here. So what we're going to be doing today, because we only got an hour today. Usually when I do like these workshops standalone, I got 90 minutes. So I am going to be tearing through things today. I do still hope to have 5 to 10 minutes of Q&A at the end of this, but I'm going to give you first a roadmap of what I'm going to be doing on this call, and then what we're going to be doing between this call today and the next live tomorrow. So today I'm going through 2 parts of the training. Number 1, I'm going to be teaching you how to make sure your Instagram is attractive so that it's attractive to your ideal clients. Then part number 2 of today's training is going to be teaching you how to set up what we call an Instagram mini ad to attract people to your page. The whole aim with this is become attractive, start attracting the right people to your page so that you can wake up every single day with an extra 20, 30, 40, 50 leads who are ideal clients who have the pain points that you can help them solve, so that you can actually have more leads. Because I'm really sick of it when people come to me and they're like, I just don't have enough leads. I'm like, we can solve that in a day. We can solve it so that you have more leads than you can handle, so that the next problem is just simply, how do I turn these leads into clients? So does that sound fair for today? Going through part 1 and part number 2. Comment down below fair if that sounds good to you. Perfect. I like it. The second thing we're going to do is, after that, basically we'll have a bit of a Q&A. Make sure you folks are implementing this stuff. After I jump off this call is when the work really starts. That's where it is up to you folks to then make the changes and do the work that I talk about today. And this is where you folks can be messaging me on Instagram to get feedback on stuff, so that my goal is by the time you jump on this call tomorrow, I want 2 things to be true. Number 1, I want your mini ad up. I want it to be posted and boosted. That's the first thing I want by 24 hours from now. The second thing I want is that your Instagram profile is optimized, because if we can have those 2 things happen in the next 24 hours, you folks can have leads coming in. So are we ready to get started? If you're ready, comment down below the word ready, and we're just going to get rocking and rolling into the training here today. I'm going to be drinking a lot of water because I always lose my voice with these things, folks. So perfect. So my amazing assistant, Margaret, she's going to comment down below. Margaret, put down below the Prime Your Instagram Bio Workbook. If you haven't downloaded this yet, you can do it right now. Margaret's going to drop it down below here. But first thing that we're going to do is going to make sure that your stuff is actually attractive. So let's go ahead. I'm going to start to share this. So before we go ahead, here we go. You folks can see my screen. I'm going to lower these blinds because it's a little bit. There we go. That looks better. So the first thing that we're going to do is make sure that your profile is actually attractive. I often talk about how, by the way, I've never used a dating app. I was currently around before they were a thing. But basically on a dating profile on an app, you want to make sure that your setup is attractive to the right type of person. You don't want to attract the wrong type of person when it comes to dating apps. It's the same thing with your Instagram. Your Instagram is your landing page, your website. You don't actually really need a website these days. Your Instagram is everything. And we're going to be talking about how to set it up so that basically you go ahead, pay Instagram money to your mini ad, you get followers. But we want to make sure that your page got a good check mark so that we want to make sure that you're actually attractive. So I'm going to breeze through this, but basically what I want you folks to do is download that workbook that Margaret put above there. And you're going to send me over basically once you've optimized your profile after this, you're going to send me a message on Instagram and be like, hey, can you audit my profile to make sure it looks good? And it should be pretty simple. That workbook literally lays it out, but I'm going to show you just in quick form how to do this. So first things first. We want to make sure that your profile is attractive. So the first thing you have to understand is that we're not trying to attract every single type of person. We're trying to attract a very specific type of person. And the more specific you can get with who you're trying to attract with your mini ad and also with your Instagram profile, the better. I was on a call with our clients today, and I was chatting with some of our clients who finally are getting about $3,000 in revenue per week in their business. So they started brand new. Now they're doing about 12 grand a month. Her name is Kruti, by the way. And I asked her, what was the biggest change? Because frankly, in the first 6 weeks in our program, she didn't really get any clients. And I was like, Kruti, what changed 6 weeks in to now I think she's like 10 weeks in, that went from not getting clients in our program to finally getting clients in our program? And she said, specificity. We got much more specific. So now you could join our program. It can take 6 weeks to get specific, or we can just do it now so we can shortcut results, which I'm sure you folks would rather have. So the first thing you need to make sure is that we are your ideal client's type of profile. So we want to make sure that we're calling them out. So a good profile does 4 things. I'm going to go through these one at a time. The first thing it does is it has a specific call out. We need to make sure that we're calling out a specific type of individual. Here's a couple different places that you can put this. Number one, in your name section here, when you're putting your name in here, you might not know this, maybe you do know this, this is SEO friendly. So if you work with, let's say, moms or dads or college students or women entrepreneurs or whatever it is, you putting this here, people who are searching, for example, my wife, she does triathlons. So she was searching for a triathlon coach for women. Guess what? She searched that on Instagram. Someone's bio popped up because they had the words here and she bought from them. So the first thing is you want to have a very specific call out. So you want to call out your ideal client in the name section. You also want to name them in your bio somewhere. Call them out demographically or what they do for work or their pain points. You want to call them out very specifically. So that's the first thing is you want to get specific because guess what? There's a lot of online coaches. How many of you, actually comment down below, how many of you feel sometimes that you're just not standing out? Comment down below me if you feel like you just aren't standing out on social media and that there's a lot of other people like you. This is, I would say 90% of the clients that we work with, they feel the exact same way. It's because they're not specific. So here's the truth. There are less neurosurgeons than there are general doctors. There are less specialists than there are generalists. So one of the easiest ways to stand out is to get specific. So that's the first thing that you need to do. The second thing you need to do with your Instagram bio so that it actually is going to convert at the end of the day is it needs to be value driven. So let me show you where you can make this value driven. So the first thing is we can make sure that one of your pinned posts, a pinned post that you have, by the way, you should probably have 2 or 3 pinned posts at least, is basically a call to action to a free resource that your ideal client would want. So very simple way to have value here. A lot of coaches that we work with as well have in their bio somewhere DM and then they'll put a certain word to get X, Y, and Z, right? So you can also have like a call to action there. This is just to make sure that when people come over to your page, they can see immediately, oh, this person is actually valuable to me. Because again, if someone specifically is calling you out, but they have no value, cool, they're specific and they're useless. We don't want to be useless. We want to be useful and specific. So you want to have both in. So that's the second thing. So we're specific, we are valuable. Now let's move to the third piece, which is trust. Here's the truth. You've probably all been to Instagram profiles of people that called you out specifically, right? They called you out, online coaches, health coaches, fitness coaches, whatever it is. They probably had value, but you just didn't trust them, right? right? This account seems spammy or scammy. So you need to have a lot of trust. So how do we build trust? Well, you do want to have one of your pin posts, which is client results, right? So results is going to build trust. Also, like your highlights, they're not the most important thing these days, but you can put more like client wins in here as well that are going to build trust as well. Some people in their bio will also have worked with X amount of coaches or X amount of health people or have helped X amount of dads lose 30 pounds of weight, whatever it is, right? You can also have results in here. This is useful. So that is the third piece, is you want to be specific, you want to be valuable, you want to be trustworthy. The last and final piece, which is actually very important and most people don't get, is you want to be likable. How many of you, and you got to be honest with me, you can't hold back now, how many of you have come across pages of douche bro-ish business gurus on Instagram that were specific, they looked valuable, they looked like they had a lot of results, but you didn't like them? They were like so over the top guru, douchey, bro-ish that you were just like, no, thank you. It could go the opposite direction as well. There's a lot of different people. You probably have come across a lot of these accounts because guess what? You didn't like them. You didn't like who they were as a person. And guess what? Even if they got people great results and they have a great value and they specifically work with people just like you, if you don't like them, you're not going to buy from them. If there's two people selling insurance and one of them is, and basically their products are similar, and one of them is the funniest, kindest, just most genuine human that you could ever imagine, and you just absolutely love being with them, who are you going to buy from? We all know who you're going to buy from. So how do you become likable? Well, you can do a couple different things. I like to make sure that one of these pin posts is a story about you, which gets people to know a little bit more about you and what you do and who you are and a little bit more about your personality. I think the profile picture is also pretty helpful because how you show up here in your profile picture and in your story post here is going to tell people a lot about you. So this is how do you have a profile that actually converts, okay? Because we're about to go into how to set up a mini ad, which is most people want to get into the mini ad. Oh, that's the real basically strategy. That's actually going to get me leads. But let me tell you something here. So many people come to me every single day and they're like, hey, Ruben, I've tried this strategy. I've tried spending money on ads. I've tried this and it hasn't worked for them. And sometimes it's the ad's fault or the strategy's fault. Most of the time, it's because they don't simply have this set up properly. Because basically, if your Instagram is your website, and if your website is not set up to convert well and get people to the right places, you could send as much traffic as you want. It's not going to convert. So this is the first and foremost thing. So let's do, is there any quick hitting questions off of just this before we move on to the next thing? I don't want to spend too much time here. Sorry, folks. I froze. I apologize. Am I back? Give me a yes if I'm back, folks.
Yeah, you're back, Ruben.
The worst time for your Wi-Fi to crap out. Sheesh, folks. It's always the days when you need it that things are just not working out. So we are back now. Good to hear. All right, I'm going to stop the presenting, come back to my screen here fully. Any questions on the optimization of the bios? Everyone really clear on that? Let me know if people are feeling really clear on that. They are? Awesome. Great. Let's get this back set up. So here's what we want to do. Margaret, go ahead. Let's go ahead and put down below the Instagram mini ad. So in these 3 days, my whole idea with this 3-day event is to day number 1, I want to teach you how to get leads. Day number 2, I want to show you how to turn those followers into sales calls. And then day number 3, I want to show you how to set up your content so that you get more people actually converting to calls off of your content. So what I'm going to be doing right now is showcasing to you how to now set up a simple Instagram mini ad that if you set it up properly and you also do this part properly, do not skip this, you can wake up to 30 to 50. Some of our clients are waking up to 100 to 200 new followers, new leads every single day. And now these aren't just followers for followers' sake. I want to be very important about this. There's a lot of people who come to me when they hear our strategy and they're like, Ruben, but followers don't equate to money. They're like, this system, this doesn't work, right? Because we've been taught followers for the sake of followers is a bad idea, which is true, by the way. But what I did is I showcased, the other day, I actually made a video on this, showcasing how if you get the right followers and if you get more of them, that equates to the biggest businesses that we've seen right now. Right now, we're at a place where our clients who are doing, let's say, $40,000 or $50,000 a month are getting probably roughly between 50 to 100 followers per day. And these are the same people who are paying anywhere between $2K all the way up to 6K for people's programs. So this is working really well right now, but we do want to avoid followers for vanity's sake or followers that aren't ideal clients. Because it's like the same thing with the website. If you sent the wrong people to the website, of course the traffic's not going to convert. So we do need to make sure that basically two things are true. Quantity, actually comment this down below, quantity and quality. Here's the truth. You need both, and without having both of these, your business will suffer. If you have the right quantity, right? So let's say you have 100 followers coming in per day, but they're not the right ones, you will get a lot of followers and no clients. If you have great quality followers coming in, but if you only got 1 or 5 coming in per week, you're going to be scratching basically the bottom of the barrel every single day, and you're not going to get enough of them. So you need to have both quantity and quality. When you have that combination, that's where you can get to your first 10K month or 20K month, or some of our clients have done all the way up to 150K months with this. So we want to make sure that we have both. And so this is what's happened. So you followed the first part of the training. So guess what? We got our Instagram page looking all good. Now, you folks, who of you are going to commit to, after this training, going and auditing your profile and then sending me a message on Instagram, getting me to look over it? Comment down below me if you are going to do that. Because frankly, if you're not going to do that, the rest of this won't work as well. I just have to be honest. So people, I like this. By the way, my assistant is taking notes of who's commenting me so that we can hold you accountable to this. So Margaret, make sure you're putting all these names down, because I need to make sure that you folks are going to follow through, because otherwise, like I said, this is useless unless you actually do something with it. So we're going to make sure that you have your profile good. Here's what I'm going to teach you to do next. I'm going to now teach you how you can spend a little bit of money every single day. Most of the clients that we work with start by spending about $10 a day, $300 a month. We're going to spend $10 a day on this mini ad. I'm going to show you exactly how to craft this mini ad. And this mini ad is going to send traffic to your newly optimized profile. And guess what's going to happen? It's going to allow you to get more leads than you could imagine, more leads than you can actually handle. Frankly, we have some clients who join our program, they turn their mini ad on and they're like, Ruben, I can't keep up. I'm getting 50, 60, 70 people every single day. And they're just like, they're kind of a little bit overwhelmed. So going to get to work, got to make money and change lives for sure. Make sure you watch the replay if you have to go to work right now. So here's what we're going to do next. I'm going to walk you through how to set up a mini ad. So Margaret, make sure to drop again the Mini-Ad Workbook if anyone has missed it. I'm going to walk you through what an Instagram mini ad is, and then we're going to literally craft parts of it together here so that you folks can go ahead and start to make this. So Instagram mini ad, I'm going to walk you through what it is. Now, here's the misconception a lot of people have. A lot of people think it's just boosting a post on Instagram that did well organically. That's one of the worst ideas. Do not do that. That is a terrible idea, because a lot of posts that do well organically, they might not be going to your ideal clients, or they might not be attracting the right type of people. They might have gone viral for a reason other than actually getting you the right types of clients. So don't just boost a post. That's a terrible idea. Also, we don't want you to have to go into Meta in the back end and learn how to do ads on Facebook. We want this to be simple, because if something isn't simple, guess what? As humans, we don't really do it. So the whole idea behind this is that a lot of people are working hard but not getting really results. They want to help a lot of people, but they have a little bit of clients, and they're just confused and stalled out on action, and they don't want to go back to a job, right? So the whole idea with the mini ad is get you more leads than you can handle, basically help you stand out among your competitors, because most businesses don't last, and I want yours to last. And so let's do this. So I'm actually going to pull open, before I dive into this, I'm going to pull open the workbook myself, and I'm going to quickly walk you folks through this. Let's stop sharing here, and I'm gonna go ahead and share this. Comment down below, can you see my screen here? This is the workbook here. It looks like a couple of you are in here, so but just give me a thumbs up if you can see this. So the whole idea is that I'm going to show you how to craft a mini ad. Now, before we get into the specifics of it, I'm going to go ahead and show you a literal example of one of our clients. I'm going to show you an example of one of our clients. She's doing about $50,000 a month. 9 months ago, she was doing $2,000 a month. So this mini ad strategy allowed her to go from $2,000 a month all the way up to $50,000 a month. She just hired her second co-coach because she has too many clients. So she hired her first co-coach, she filled them up. Now she just hired her second. So this works. And this is the exact one that's working for her. So this is Aaliyah. So this is a mini ad. So it is a simple B-roll video. B-roll meaning that she's not actually talking at all in this video. She's literally just in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and play it again. So basically, she's here. She does a fun little slide across the decks. The most important piece here is the writing on the screen and then the writing in the caption. And this is what I'm going to get you folks to craft. It's a simple video. It can just be one video. It could be 5 or 7 seconds. What we're doing is we're calling out your ideal client instantly, talking about their struggles, and you're going to basically place yourself into this situation. Now, here's my recommendation. I want to make this as easy as possible for you folks. You know what's the easiest thing you can possibly do? You can literally just screenshot this or basically just copy this and then just change it to your niche. So instead of POV, someone comment down below their niche or their ideal client. Comment down below your demographic that you work with. Let's make this easy for you folks. Because basically you can do POV. You're a midlife woman struggling with exhaustion, bloating, mood swings that no amount of clean eating or workout seem to fix, right? So you could put in here put the demographic that you want to work with and put in their struggles and then put in something that they've tried to do that doesn't fix anything, right? Very simple. And then you find my account that actually explains why and then you can talk about your struggles feel this way and how to restore basically your body, life, whatever it might be. So this is very simple. And in this mini ad workbook that I have for you, we got very specifics with here, right? Literally, I have it right here. You can use these, just copy these and use them. I see too many people, by the way, when we're creating mini ads, who they try to make it way different than this. And I'm like, no. We have a framework. Stay as close to the framework as possible. So basically, I would just use one of these if I were you. Very simple. Again, so you're going to have a B-roll video with writing on it, 5 to 7 seconds. Then we have the caption. Again, the caption is going to be very straightforward. We start with a follow and then put your handle in here. That's very important. And then you're going to just basically go through, actually here, I'm going to do this for you folks. I'm going to make this literally the easiest thing in the world so that no one can say, oh, Ruben, I don't have X, Y, and Z. I'm literally putting this in the chat here. Fitness professionals, BC Canada, helping busy women feel good. I love this. So here, I literally just copy and pasted this caption in here. Everyone copy it, paste it to your computer, your phone, whatever it is, and then just shift it to your niche, the women or men that you help, or whoever it is that you help, just shift it to your industry, your specific demographic, etc. Because what this is going to do is this is going to allow you to call out. Remember at the beginning I said, be specific. This is what I was talking about here. So let me go back. I know, by the way, this is probably not like most workshops that you've been to because I'm literally showing you exactly what to do and now you're going to go do it. Lots of workshops, they just lecture you and then they try to sell you. And by the way, am I trying to sell you on something? Yeah, but it's because I'm going to show you that it works and then you're going to want to buy it. So of course that's going to happen. I hope that's no surprise here. So I'm going to go back to here to explain a little bit more. So sharing my screen again. So anyways, the other thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to grab this post. I'm going to copy the link. I'm coming back here. And I'm going to throw this in the chat for all of you so you folks can literally go to this post and mirror it as much as you want, okay? Don't copy it verbatim because your niche, your industry, your demographic is going to be different. So don't copy it word for word. Obviously, make it your own. It's not going to work, by the way, if you copy it verbatim, but just use it as a framework. This is literally, so you can see here, it got 262,000 views. That's because we're using it as a mini ad, right? Most of her content will get like 1,000, 1,500, 33,000 views. So that's what you're going to do. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to shoot a B-roll video. You're going to put the text on the screen. It's literally right in here. You also have the literal example I sent to you. Again, make sure you paste that somewhere before this workshop ends. And you're going to go ahead and craft this. My goal for every single one of you, by the way, I'm going to be in the office for a full hour after this workshop. My goal is that most of you will have your profiles optimized according to the workbook and the training that I gave you. and maybe even have your mini ads ready to be posted. So that, because here's what I would love. Yes, some of you maybe will only have time to go ahead and post this and boost this tomorrow. But for those of you that are able to do it today, you're going to wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden you're going to be like, I got a new follower. And then some of you are going to be like, Ruben, I got 20 followers and they look like ideal clients. So I would just love to wake up tomorrow and hear that from you folks. And I'm sure you would love to wake up tomorrow and see that in your account. So if at all possible, like I said, I am in the office for an hour after this workshop. I'm going to be trying to dedicate my time to helping you with these things after the workshop. So let's make sure that we do that. So B-roll video, text on screen, caption. Those are the three most important things. Now I'm going to give you a couple. The next things that I'm going to say are very boring, but incredibly important. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen because I need to come back here. Number one, royalty-free music only. You will not be able to boost if you use any other type of music. Royalty, so write that down, must be royalty-free music. You can search for royalty-free music in the Instagram app, or you can search it on Google or ChatGPT and also get royalty-free songs. It must be royalty-free music. That's the one important point. The second important point is that you will want to post this from your phone and boost it from your desktop. You will pay 30% more to the ads if you boost off of your phone. We don't want to give Apple more money than they need. So you will be boosting from your desktop. So you can edit this video on your phone and post it organically. You're going to post it to your feed. It's totally fine that people see it on your feed. Post it organically, and then you're going to go to your desktop, and that's where you're going to boost it. If you have questions on that, throw them into the chat now. I just want to be very specific. Royalty-free music, and you're going to boost it on desktop. Very important technical things of this, but this is very important. Any questions on that? If we don't have questions on that, that's totally fine. I just want to make this so clear. Post on phone, boost on laptop. Exactly. So other couple things in this workbook that I gave you, I have a ton of examples in here. I obviously showed you the one, but all of the examples here are from clients of ours that have done over $10,000 a month with their mini ad. So make sure that if you want to look at these examples, you totally can. There's a version here to do with a carousel. Ignore that. Do not do that. It's more of an advanced thing and it takes way longer. So just avoid it. It's not that it doesn't work. It's just going to take way too much time. A couple other important reminders here. Obviously, original sounds like royalty-free stuff, use copyrighted music. There's a lot of stuff here. Text should be easy to read and stand out. Again, some people, they put text in such a way that it's just so hard to read. Boost from your computer, not your phone. Look at that. All the instructions are in there. I didn't even have to say anything, but I wanted to say something. And then here down below here, we have some numbers and standards as far as what you should be looking for. Most of the clients that we work with, we're able to get cost per follower. We want it less than $2. Most of the clients we work with, again, if your profile is optimized, you got a good mini ad, can get new followers for between 20 to 60 cents. So for example, let's just say you're getting a new follower for 50 cents. You spend $10 a day, you get 20 followers, right? If you can get it down to 25 cents, then maybe you're going to be getting like 40 followers. So it depends a little bit on these things. Now, what we're looking for is we really under promise here. So usually what we're looking at is the clients that start working with us is that they're going to get a client, they're going to get someone to pay for the program for about $150 to $300. Now, that might sound crazy, but I wanted to show this to a couple of you folks because I don't feel like most people will actually show you behind the scenes. I'm a little bit more of just like a, let me show you literally everything kind of person. So let's go here. Let me just quickly show you this. This is Brooke. She just spent her first $400 on her mini. This was yesterday, by the way. You can see this. So she spent $400 on mini ads. She's getting 43 cents followers, and she contracted $3,600, right? So spend $400 to make $3,600. I would spend $400 to make $3,600. Let's go to another one. Rachel here, she just did this as well. She spent her first $200 and got $2,000 back, right? So a 10x return on her ad spend. I'll show one more here. Let's go with Ryan. So this was Thursday. So this was last week, Thursday. He spent $328 to get $1,500 back, right? So this is on average when what people start with. They can eventually get to even better once they're better at messaging skills, sales skills, etc. But here's my question for you folks. If you were having to spend, I don't know, let's call it $200 to even make back $1,500, who of you would do that? Comment down below yes if you're like, I'm totally good with that strategy. Can add AI generated character instead of a real person? No, 100%. Like, these strategies work well because people want to connect with humans. I know there's a lot of people who want to do faceless and all these different things. And every single time the cost per follower goes up, people aren't trusting you as much. Frankly, when I buy from someone online, I want to buy from a human. So I know a lot of people don't like that. They don't want to post their face, but that is absolutely how it works the best. So people are saying, yes, hell yes, I like that. Perfect. So here's what we're going to do. I feel like I'm rocking and rolling with this. I have one more part of the training that I want to go through, a little bit of the back end of how to boost something, but I am actually going to break for a little Q&A here. We're going to give it 5 minutes where you can, if you have a question, you can comment down below the number 1. Comment down below number 1 if you have a question, and then I will call upon you to unmute yourself and you can ask your question. After this, we'll then go into the last part of the training before we just go get this to work, because I want you to be getting this implemented ASAP. So anyone have a question? If there's no questions, either I did a terrible job of explaining things or an amazing job. Oh, there's a question. Kagan? Hey, Kagan, unmute yourself. Let's go ahead and ask your question. The floor is yours.
Yes, it's Kagan. It's confusing for a lot of people. But I guess my question is, when you're spending $200, $300 per, is it week or month? Sorry.
Per month.
Okay.
Most people do $10 a day, so it ends up being around $300 a month.
And then if you're spending that much and they're having a profit of $2,000, is that a reflection of how many clients that you're pulling in? Is that like 2 to 3 packages, or is, I guess?
So it totally depends on what your price point is, right? Okay. Most of the people that we work with will start people usually at least $1,500 packages, come the low end of price points. Mm-hmm. And then we try to get our clients eventually to raise their prices. A lot of them eventually get to $2,500, $3,500. So what I just showed you was some of our new clients who got their first client using this method. So usually the first client with this method will be the most expensive. For example, like Aaliyah, who I showed you, she went from like $2,000 a month to $50,000 a month. She's only spending $600 a month to have a $50,000 month. And the reason that her spend now goes much further is because she's more skillful with her content. She's better at having conversations to book calls. She's better at closing calls. So when I talk about spend $300, make $1,500, that's usually the most expensive client that they'll get. And then it'll usually get cheaper because they get better at it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that answers it perfectly. I was just curious what other people's structures were, what that would look like and version.
Exactly. This is why for most people, we very much recommend selling a bit of a higher ticket service to start, because it's just as easy to sell something for $300 as it is to sell something for $3,000. At the end of the day, there'll be people who can barely afford $300. There'll be people who can barely afford $3,000. So the difficulty level is the same. The reason we get people to do high ticket off the front end is because most businesses go under in the first 3 years. And the biggest reason they go under is because of profit. And what is going to make more profit is if you can do a higher ticket service, have a better transformation, and basically you need less clients to get to a full-time income, right? Some of you people maybe are working jobs or doing this on the side. Easiest way to go full-time is less people paying more. And that's going to allow you to go full-time quicker, spend more time to make it more profitable. So anyways, that's a little bit more of just like why we set it up this way. There are some of our clients eventually that then come up with different offers and like more leveraged offers, or turn their one-on-one into like more group kind of style. But we just want to get people off the ground so that they don't have to do a job and they can have a little bit of ability. And then we can work on some other things. I'm totally rambling at this point, but did that answer your question?
No, perfectly. Thank you.
Perfect. Great question. Liam, the floor is yours. What is your question?
So with the B-roll video, I'm like an endurance coach, more specifically, probably been working with a lot of different athletes, but I guess to get more specific, maybe try and get into just the endurance space, because it's the space that I compete mostly in. So my race this weekend is 50-kilometer ultra. This one's actually in England. I live in Perth, so I'm in England currently. It should be flat enough for a fast time.
I just did a 50K a couple of weeks ago, so I'm totally into this.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
what I would do, knowing the endurance space, because I run in the mountains all the time, is I definitely would get specific. We're working with a couple people right now who are endurance dietitians or people like that in the trail running or the ultra running space. And getting specific is so powerful. Probably what I would choose if I were you is really narrowing in, because here's the truth. If you had a mini-ad that, like this mini-ad, if the language was, let's say, something to the effect of, hey, do you want to get into endurance sports? I can help you. Or if it said, hey, you just got into trail running, your 50K is the next race you want to do, my account will show you exactly how to do it. The follower that you're going to get on one versus the other is way more specific, right? And so I would just go ahead and get incredibly specific if I were you. I know you guys have a lot of really cool running in the UK and stuff like that. So I would get very specific with the, hey, you've done your first road 5 or 10K or even half marathon, but you want to switch to maybe trails and go ultra. I would get specific with it.
Yeah, because I'm actually from Perth, Western Australia, but just over here visiting and stuff like that. But the thing is I'm trying to find something that's specific but relatively popular. So obviously sub 20-minute 5K is pretty up there. People racing their first marathon, possibly another popular, exciting long-term goal for people. It's hard. So I'm trying to think, would my B-roll be like, I don't really want to just, the problem is that if I'm going to be working with someone that's getting a sub 20-minute 5K and then they want to do a half and a full, my problem is, where do I cut the tie? Like
so let me say it this way. Your marketing should be incredibly specific with the person on the journey. Once people start working with you, if you feel comfortable with the shift of their goals and everything, you can just keep working with them, right? For a lot of people that come into our programs, they're wanting to hit their first $10,000 or $20,000 a month in business. But guess what? When our clients hit $20,000 a month in business, if they want to get to $50,000 a month, we're not going to be like, oh, no, we don't help them. Of course, we can still help them, right? We can help girls. So I would choose something specific as far as, I'm going to help you run your first marathon, or I'm going to help you run your first trail race. I'm going to help you go from road to trail. Like, get specific in that sense, because then you're going to attract people who, like, if you were to put a post out there just being like, I'm going to help you run your first marathon, that's going to attract people who want to run their first marathon. And that's a great person to attract, right? Yeah. So I would go with something specific like that. And then when you work with people, their goals might shift and change. And if you're comfortable at delivering still upon that, just keep working with them.
That's awesome. With a side note to that, with the pin post on my profile, it has, I think, one of me running an ultra. The second one, I'm not too sure. And the third one is literally of a client of mine who's lost 34 kilograms. So the problem is that because I've worked with every type of person,
for sure,
that pin post now is probably going to have to change. I don't have a video of my last client who ran a sub 20-minute 5K, but I've never helped anyone run their first marathon. So now I'm just trying to think of like what other videos I could put there. But the pin post right now is a client win, which is 34 kilograms lost, not necessarily in the niche that I'm speaking about.
Exactly. And this is a good point for everyone else listening, is that the stuff that we talked about for your profile and calling out the specific person in the pin post, it should be like, you should look at your mini ad, you should look at your profile, and they should be talking exactly to the same person. Some people, they have a dissonance, and that's where your conversion from someone coming to you, look at your profile, and that person following you can be low. So you're absolutely right, Liam, that whatever you choose your mini ad to be, you should make sure that the congruency is absolute there on your pin post. And it might be just a story about you and a freebie, and maybe you don't have a client testimonial of that yet. You could have yourself as the client testimonial on that one, right? So basically, so you're going to want to have a congruent, and so make sure that it is, because nothing's worse than getting a ton of people coming to look at your Instagram profile, then looking at some of the pin posts and being, oh no, I don't want to lose weight. I want to run faster, right? You don't want that. You want people to come over to your profile who are like, oh, I want to run fast exactly like that. That's going to be a winner.
Cheers.
Great questions. Let's move on to the last part of the training, folks. I just want to walk you through how to actually boost a post. So I'm going to do this just so that you folks can get it's fairly simple, but I want to make sure that you folks are going to be walking through this in a nice, easy way. So you click on a post. Guess what? You click, oh, this one's I already boosted, but I'm going to click boost again. So it actually might not let me. I have an ad activated for this one right now. So discard. I need to go to a post that is not boosted yet. Let's go over to my profile. So it's very easy to boost a post. Let's go ahead, grab this thing. If I were to click boost the reel, basically you want it to be visit your profile. So that's the whole goal, visit your profile. We're not trying to get them to a website or to message you or mixed action. It's just visit your profile because the goal is followers. Then you want to create an audience. So you can create your own audience in here. Again, it's not crazy. Now, point of technicality, turn this off. We do not want to have Advantage Plus on. Turn that off. That's a big no. We do not want that. Then get specific with your location. I would choose 1 or 2 countries. For me, I usually choose Canada, the States, Australia, because that's what we basically go for locations that are specific. Add some interest in, right? So interest for you, Liam, could be, we talk about running, right? Running, or if we talk about 5K, I don't know if that's a 5K run, put stuff like that in there, right? Make sure your age is specific. I have found that most of you should have your age at the bottom higher than 25. Low 20s and high teens, usually low income people. I was broke when I was that age, so I think most people are broke at that age. And then choose a specific gender. I know a lot of you, I could help both. Choose a specific gender. You'll thank me later. So you're going to choose that, and then all you're going to do is you're going to choose how much you spend per day. I would start you folks at $10 a day for like 7 days, and then you just boost the reel. That's as simple as it is. So here's what I want to do. We can have a little bit more Q&A here to end things, but I want my ideal situation is that all of you can optimize your profile, and some of you might take a little bit to craft the post. It's okay if that takes a little bit of time, but I want as many of you as possible to get that mini ad up today, because by the time tomorrow's workshop comes around and you jump on, I want this chat to basically be people saying, got my first 10 leads, 20 leads, 30 leads, 40 leads. That's what I want. Pretty sure that's what you folks all want as well. So like I said, I'm going to be in the office for the next hour and 15. So if you are ready to go rock and roll on this, let's go ready to rock and roll on this. I'm going to stay on here for another 10, 15 minutes here for Q&A so that I can answer all of your questions. And if you're like, I don't want to got any questions, I'm just going to go and start working on this, log off. That's totally fine. So how do you go about interest in targeting for the mini ads? Randy's totally unsuccessful and just attracted bad leads. So attracting the bad leads is going to be way more about the words you have on the screen, Jesse, than the targeting. A lot of people will be like, oh, the targeting on the back end is why I got bad leads. The biggest indicator of a good lead is the visual that you have in your reel and the words on your screen. That is going to be 80% of attracting good leads. And the targeting on the back end is just 20%. Now, as far as the interest in targeting, there's a couple things you can do. Like I mentioned, go for an older demographic. There is people that are older usually generally have more money. So that's the first thing. The second thing is make sure that they are in locations that or countries that can, as far as the conversion ratio, it works well. And then just make sure that they have specific interests. That's really all you're going to be able to do on the targeting on the back end. The biggest thing is calling out the right person with the big pain point on the front end. So that's what I would do there, Jesse. I was asking, should we have our page ready before boosting? Now, here's what's going to happen. Some of you are going to take 3 days to get your profile optimized. That screws up this whole 3-day event. So I want you to get your Instagram mini ad up, and then then go work on your Instagram profile. We're not doing the whole perfect first and then boost. We're going to do boost it and then optimize it. So that's what we're going to do there. I received a lot of messages after the ad, but it doesn't get converted. Well, good thing tomorrow we're going to be talking about how to turn your followers into sales calls. So you better show up tomorrow because that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. Kagan, where do we send you our Instagram profile? Great question. You're going to send it to my Instagram. So my Instagram handle is very simple. It's just my name, Ruben Drieger, nothing special. Send me a DM to look over your profile and to look over your mini ad, and then let's go get this out there, folks. Oh, these are great questions. What other questions do we have, folks? How many of you have time here in the next little bit to actually get this up today? How many of you want to wake up tomorrow with leads? Comment down below me if that is going to be you. Perfect. I like it a lot. Awesome. Love to hear it. Good, folks. What other questions do we have? If you're feeling good, you're ready to go, you can log off already and just go to work. I'll be in my DM soon. I feel overwhelmed. I'm not tech savvy, but ready to make changes. Guess what? That's perfect. If you weren't overwhelmed right now, you probably wouldn't get results from this. I'll tell you one thing. Liam is running a 50K soon. I ran a 50K. I was freaking overwhelmed training for it and racing it. But guess what that meant? It meant I was doing something new and uncomfortable and growing. And that's a good thing. Break it down into small-sized bites. So, Jeff, just go ahead and look at the examples of the mini ads, get something together, send it my way. I will give you feedback. I will be very honest if you need to change things. So overwhelmed is okay. That just means that you're doing something new and exciting. So that's not a bad thing. Any other questions? I can take another 1 or 2 questions, folks, but I really want you to start working on this because tomorrow we'll be talking about how do you turn these followers into clients? Because frankly, I'm going to be very honest with you folks. This mini ad side of things is probably the easiest part of getting clients. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Because a mini ad like this, a lot of you, if you do this right, in the next 30 to 60 minutes could have it up and it could be actually giving you leads. That's not very hard to do. The part that we're going to be talking about tomorrow and on Thursday of turning these followers into sales calls and having better content, that's where you're going to have to actually get a lot more skillful, which takes a little bit more time. So Liam saying, what was your time for the 50K? Was it? Oh, you're going to probably beat it, brother. It was pretty hilly. We did just over 2,000 meters a gain, did 6.5 hours. So it wasn't a bad time. I was pretty happy. It was my first 50K, but a lot of up and down. So that's hilly. I live in the mountains. So Jeff, you got a question. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Hey, where do I start on these fucking mini ads?
Yeah, 100%. So basically, what I want you to do, you have the workbook?
Yeah, I downloaded it. It's ready.
Perfect. Awesome. So the first thing you're going to do, you're just going to film a video of yourself doing something, and then you're just going to put it into an editing app and then get that text on screen.
So
okay?
the Instagram edits app would work.
Perfect. The edits app is great. So I'll just say it again. The easiest way to do this is in that workbook. I have 8 examples that you can just literally look at it and just be like, I need to create something like this, but for the guys that you work with, right? And so just literally go look at it and make it look as similar as possible, but in your niche. That's, in my opinion, is just the easiest way. Instead of me explaining it a million times, just look like literally have them side by side. This is what mine looks like. How can I make it look more alike? And then just work on that.
Cool. I don't want to make it cringe.
You know what? Who cares if it's cringe? I can't tell you how many times that cringe got me further ahead in life. Being cringe got me my wife. Being cringe built my business. Being cringe is okay, folks. There is nothing wrong with being cringe. In fact, oftentimes I should pursue being cringe because otherwise you're in your comfort zone, you ain't growing. So
that's right. That's facts. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Love it, folks. I can take one more question if there is a question. Do we have a question from any of you folks? If not, that is totally okay. We're just going and rocking and rolling on this, folks. So tomorrow in the training, I'm going to be talking about, great, you got followers now. How do you first make sure that they are an ideal client and you want to sell to them? How do you then warm them up so that they want to buy from you? And how do you get them onto a sales call or a discovery call, a consult call, whatever it is? So I'm going to be walking you through that process tomorrow and giving you basically the exact strategy that our clients use to hit their first 10K month, their first 20K month. Now, unlike the mini ad, the DM process and having the conversations is going to take a lot more skill building. It's not as simple as turning on a mini ad. You can just turn on and followers are coming in. It's fantastic. It's amazing. But this next part tomorrow is going to take a bit more skill. Some of you might get good at it really quickly. Some of you might take a while, and that's totally fine. And so what I want you to do in the next hour is just to focus on getting the mini ad ready, send it over to me, or optimizing your profile like we talked about, sending it over to me. I will give you feedback, and we're going to work on this, folks. Does that sound fair? Comment down below fair if that sounds fair. And if that's all for today, folks, then let's just get you folks going and getting to work on this. Because, again, the results you're looking for are on the other side of implementing what I talked about today. And so I tried to make this as simple as possible, give you the workbooks. Make sure that you have the Mini-Ads Workbook, the Profile Workbook. If you don't, I have it in the school community. I have it in the Instagram group chat that you're all in. It's everywhere. So you should have it. Awesome, folks. I'm going to log off. I'm going to be in my Instagrams in a second. Go ahead and send me stuff, and let's get rocking and rolling. Bye for now.